It is day 13 of the Iran war, and in the last 6 hours, every single one of these things happened. A U.S. KC-135 refueling aircraft went down in western Iraq. Rescue efforts are ongoing. Crew status unknown. A New York Times visual investigation found 16 attacks on merchant vessels in the Strait of Hormuz since February 28th, killing 8 seafarers and leaving 1 missing. The attacks targeted 10 tankers, 3 container ships, 3 bulk carriers, and 1 tugboat. 8 dead, 1 missing, across 16 ships in 13 days. The USS Abraham Lincoln opened fire on an Iranian vessel that sailed too close. Multiple shots from a Mark 45 gun missed. The Iranian ship's status is unknown. Kuwait International Airport was targeted by drones. Bahrain's Interior Ministry told citizens to find the nearest safe place. Saudi Arabia intercepted 12 drones over its territory in a single day. Iran exported 30% more oil in the first 9 days of March than in the same period before the war, while the rest of the world's oil market is paralyzed. And Trump told Truth Social that Iran's national soccer team is welcome to the 2026 FIFA World Cup in America, but he doesn't think it's appropriate for their own life and safety. Here is day 13. Every development, every number, every moment the president says the war is won. At approximately 9 a.m. Eastern Time Thursday morning, U.S. Central Command issued a brief 3-sentence statement. U.S. Central Command is aware of the loss of a U.S. KC-135 refueling aircraft. The incident occurred in friendly airspace during Operation Epic Fury, and rescue efforts are ongoing. This was not due to hostile fire or friendly fire. The KC-135 Stratotanker is the backbone of American air power projection. It is the aircraft that keeps fighter jets and bombers in the air over Iran by refueling them mid-flight. Without KC-135s, the bombing campaign stops. It is not a combat aircraft. It carries fuel, not weapons. Its crew are support personnel, not fighter pilots. They are the same category of service member as the 6 American soldiers killed at the port of Shuaiba in Kuwait on day 3. Logistics and support troops, the people who make the war possible, in aircraft that are not designed for combat. CENTCOM said 2 aircraft were involved. 1 went down. The second landed safely. The crash was not due to hostile fire or friendly fire, meaning it was a mechanical failure or an accident during operations. Crew numbers for a KC-135 are typically 4 to 6. Their status as of this recording is unknown. This is the 4th publicly acknowledged aircraft lost since the war began. 3 F-15E Strike Eagles were mistakenly downed by Kuwaiti air defenses on day 2. All 6 crew ejected safely and were recovered. Now a 4th aircraft is down, with crew status undetermined in a rescue operation that is ongoing. Trump's response at his Thursday afternoon press availability: "A lot of things go down. I just want to make sure everyone comes home." He said it while walking to Marine One. He did not stop. He did not answer follow-up questions. A lot of things go down. That is the Commander-in-Chief's public statement, on camera, on the record, about a downed American military aircraft with crew members potentially missing in a war zone. While the KC-135 story was breaking, the New York Times visual investigation found 16 attacks on merchant vessels in the Strait of Hormuz and nearby waters since February 28th, killing 8 seafarers and leaving 1 missing. The attacks targeted 10 tankers, 3 container ships, 3 bulk carriers, and 1 tugboat. 8 dead, 1 missing, across 16 ships in 13 days. These are not military personnel. These are civilian seafarers, the people who move 90% of global trade. The Thai ship Mayuri Nari, whose burning photo circulated worldwide on Wednesday, is in that count. The Japanese-flagged One Majesty struck off the UAE coast. A Liberian-flagged container ship called Express Rome. A U.S.-owned crude tanker named Safe Sea Vishnu struck off Iraq's coast in images released by Iran's Tasnim news agency on Thursday. The International Maritime Organization announced it will convene an extraordinary session next week, specifically to address threats to shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. The IMO, which almost never holds emergency sessions, is calling one for next week because in 13 days, 16 ships have been attacked. 8 seafarers have died, 1 is missing, and the world's most critical oil waterway has no safety protocol that functions under current conditions. The Thai ship Mayuri Nari, whose burning photos circulated worldwide on Wednesday, is in that count. The Japanese-flagged One Majesty struck off the UAE coast. A Liberian-flagged container ship called Express Rome. A U.S.-owned crude tanker named Safe Sea Vishnu struck off Iraq's coast in images released by Iran's Tasnim news agency on Thursday. The International Maritime Organization announced it will convene an extraordinary session next week, specifically to address threats to shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. The IMO, which almost never holds emergency sessions, is calling one for next week because in 13 days, 16 ships have been attacked, 8 seafarers have died, 1 is missing, and the world's most critical oil waterway has no safety protocol that functions under current conditions. The KC-135 and the NYT investigation were not the only new military developments on Thursday. An Iranian vessel sailed too close to the USS Abraham Lincoln earlier this week, prompting a U.S. Navy ship to open fire, CBS News reported. Multiple shots from a Mark 45 5-inch gun missed. The status of the Iranian ship and its crew remains unknown. The USS Abraham Lincoln is a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, one of the most powerful surface warships ever built. It is operating in the waters near the Persian Gulf as part of Operation Epic Fury. An Iranian vessel, the type and intent not yet specified in official statements, came close enough that the Navy opened fire with its main deck gun. Multiple shots missed. That is now in the public record. A U.S. Navy vessel fired its deck gun at an Iranian ship. The shots missed. The Iranian ship's status and crew are unknown. This incident has not been officially confirmed by CENTCOM in a public statement as of this recording. CBS News' report cited unnamed officials, but it sits alongside the KC-135 crash and the 16 merchant vessel attacks as part of the same Day 13 picture, a war that is expanding horizontally, not contracting toward the endpoint the president said was very complete, pretty much on Monday. Iran's top security official, Ali Larijani, also warned Thursday that a U.S. strike on Iran's power grid could plunge the entire region into darkness, responding to comments Trump made suggesting infrastructure targeting was under consideration. Larijani's warning covers not just Iran, but the Gulf states, whose electricity infrastructure is interconnected. If Iran's power grid goes down in the way Larijani described, the desalination plants that provide drinking water across the Gulf go dark with it. The humanitarian consequences would be immediate and severe. Against the backdrop of downed aircraft, burning ships, and gunfire in the Persian Gulf, Thursday produced 2 presidential statements that will be remembered long after the specific military details of Day 13 are forgotten. The first,
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced Thursday that Trump is authorizing countries to buy Russian oil stranded at sea as a short-term measure to increase global supply and stabilize energy markets, while the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. Russian oil, the country that has been feeding Iran satellite targeting intelligence to kill American soldiers, the country whose president pledged unwavering support to Iran's new supreme leader, the country that, according to the EU's president, is the only winner of this war so far, collecting record energy revenues while American soldiers die. Trump is now authorizing the purchase of Russian oil to compensate for the supply disruption caused by the war Putin is benefiting from. The strategic incoherence of that sentence is not a partisan characterization. It is what happened. The second presidential statement, Trump wrote on Truth Social that Iran's national soccer team is welcome to the 2026 FIFA World Cup being hosted in the United States this summer. Quote, "I really don't believe it is appropriate that they be there for their own life and safety," he wrote. Iran's sports minister said participation is not possible after the U.S. killed the country's supreme leader and bombed its military infrastructure. The World Cup is scheduled to be held in American cities this summer. The President of the United States is at war with one of the participating nations. He told their soccer team on Truth Social that he's worried about their safety if they come to America to play soccer. Their government has already said they're not coming. The gap between that Truth Social post and the KC-135 rescue operation happening simultaneously in western Iraq is the gap between the presidency as content and the presidency as consequence. Let us close with the numbers that define Day 13, because they are the most honest assessment of where this war actually stands. American military dead, 7. American military wounded, 140, with 8 facing severe injuries. Aircraft lost, 4. 3 F-15Es to Kuwaiti friendly fire, 1 KC-135 non-hostile crash, crew status unknown. Days of combat, 13. Cost, approximately $13 billion at $1 billion per day. Strikes on American and allied facilities. Iran has struck targets in 9 countries. Merchant vessels attacked, 16. Seafarers killed, 8. Seafarers missing, 1. Iran's nuclear-enriched uranium, moved before the strikes, location unknown. Iran's new supreme leader, appointed, injured, silent. Russia's position, unwavering support for Iran. EU President's assessment, Russia is the only winner. Strait of Hormuz, 90% closed. Oil, above $100 per barrel. Gas, $3.54 national average, up 70 cents since January. Dow Jones down nearly 2,000 points since the war began. American public approval of the war, 46%. Congressional authorization, none. War powers resolution failed 47 to 53. Defined endgame, none publicly stated. Trump's assessment of the war's status, we won, in the first hour it was over, but we won. We've got to finish the job. Those two things, the scorecard and the statement, are the complete picture of Day 13. Iran exported 30% more oil this month than before the war, according to tankertrackers.com. Iran is selling more oil during the war America is fighting against it than it was before the war. The war designed to cripple Iran's economy has, in its first 13 days, increased Iran's oil revenue. A lot of things go down. We won in the first hour. Show some guts.